Branding is quite a broad term. Most designers and agencies have their own packages for what they provide for branding, and it can be as extensive as you want it to be. It could include strategy, or maybe it's just a simple logo suite, color palette, and type pairing package, or maybe there's like a website included or social media template design. The options are kind of endless. One thing I've been noticing recently since working as a brand designer is that people have reached out to me looking to elevate their brand, and I love working on these kinds of projects, and so I wanted to take today to talk about what that means, like elevating a brand. So I want to talk about brand refresh because that's basically what it is. First, we need to define what a brand refresh really means. And I think the term can be interpreted in a few ways. For me personally, I think a brand refresh means elevating and building on an existing brand. Branding, on the other hand, for me means creating the identity of a brand, including working out the visual identity. Rebranding is another facet, which is also different. And for me, that is revisiting the brand's fundamentals, so like the strategy, the positioning, the vision. You kind of realign that to where the brand is right now, and you update the visuals accordingly. So a brand refresh is kind of like a simpler version of rebranding, in my opinion at least. So then the next question could be, why would you do a brand refresh? So imagine that you started a business a year ago. Let's say that this is like an artisan ceramics brand, just for reference. You sell handmade dishes, cups, everything. And when you started, you had a very clear vision for what your brand should look like in order to reflect what you do and what you love and to reach the right audience. So you had a designer do your initial branding, and it was just what you needed. It was a nice logo suite, color palettes that was perfect. The typography was perfect. You used everything to set up your first site and get your business off the ground. You made some business cards and all of those things. Now, a year later, you have like a good business going. It's been going really well. You got lots of clients, lots of customers. So you have a few notes on like what happened. You notice that there were some things missing in your social media because you want to create like an overall coherence in your posts, and that's lacking. You also notice that for the extras that you include in each package, you'd like them to be more representative of your brand and generally feel a bit more luxurious, because that's kind of the direction that your brand has grown into over the year. And you notice that the website you built yourself worked well at the beginning, but you feel that it could really use a redo to represent the more luxurious and exclusive route that your brand has taken over the last year. Because in that last year, you learned a lot about like what your brand represents, what you think is valuable to customers, what you think is valuable to you, and you want to kind of realign that and align that also in all of your brand's facets and marketing material. So overall, you feel that your brand has grown a lot and has moved more into a luxurious direction than before. You feel that some of the visuals and parts of the brand experience don't line up with where the brand is right now and where you're headed from here. This would be the perfect moment to go for a brand refresh. Everything in the base of the brand is pretty much the same. There's just a few things that you want to have tweaked and upgraded and refreshed in order for it to align with the current brand. It's also perfect because it's generally a much lower cost and investment than a complete rebrand, which can sometimes be way more than you actually need. A brand refresh keeps the core of the brand the same, perhaps like minor logo tweaks, but mostly focuses on maintaining the fundamentals and will just expand and build on what is already there. Now, I did say that the brand would go into a bit more of a luxurious direction, which means that the positioning will be slightly different, but it still does not necessarily require a whole brand refresh, which is a lot more extensive than what you would need for this. So taking the case study at hand for this ceramics shop, you could work on updating and expanding the brand guidelines with an updated color palette, perhaps suggest new and similar typefaces that reflect more luxury. Next to that, you could work on some social media templates using the updated styling, as well as updating the website with visuals that represent the brand where it is now, and making sure that it communicates that luxurious vibe that the brand is going for. Lastly, the brand and customers experience are super important, especially when you're a luxurious brand. So when the customer receives their package, it's the first real life interaction they have with the brand, so it needs to be really good. Any cards, gifts, posters, stickers, certificates, anything that's added needs to reflect the luxury and exclusivity that the brand now adheres to. That is also something you could work on with the client. This just gives you an idea of what it could look like to do a brand refresh. And here's an example for the imaginary brand I mentioned before. So I made this logo quite a while ago, or like this branding quite a while ago, and basically the ceramics shop that I just described to you. So for this, I just adjusted the logo only slightly. I kept the same core and overall look. It just feels a little bit more luxurious. I updated the color palette. I made some of the colors more vibrant so they made more impact. I added a lighter cream color that acts as a base and background color, but also works on both primary blue colors. Generally, this color palette just works really well as a whole, like as a system, where the colors that need to be layered look really good and give an iconic feeling for the brand. Furthermore, I updated the font pairing, so there was no real pairing before, it was mostly just one font. So I made sure to select the second font that fit really well with the primary font, which is the same one that's also used for the logo itself. I also created like a typography layout and hierarchy to be used to construct the website, for example, and any other type-based material. This wasn't there before either. All in all, the branding looks much more complete now. The client would have a lot more range of visuals and options to work with that still reflects and aligns with the brand. As you can see, I also made several social media templates using the new graphics. These can be used by the client to get started again with the socials and have like a nice overall coherent look. It'll also give the client a clear idea of what they can do with the colors, typography, and photography combined to stay on brand. It's usually better and easier to show this in examples so the client knows what they can do with it. Here's also a suggestion for the homepage redesign using the typography hierarchy and layout I came up with and making sure the colors come out nicely on the website. And it also looks nicely put together with the photography style of the brand because it really brings out that luxury factor. The packaging aspect takes a bit of consideration because they are usually a thing that the customer will actually hold and see in real life. So everything will need to reflect the luxury and the quality that the brand stands for. It really needs to prove itself in this situation. So I thought the box that I designed before was actually still really good at communicating this luxury and unique feeling of the brand. So I only updated some minor things. So the color palette, the typography, and also simplified several aspects to make it a little bit more minimal and product focused, but other than that, I just kept it the same. And I also worked on some new business cards that communicated the luxury vibe and really enforced the brand colors and overall look and feel. As I was working on this, I thought it'd be nice to add like an extra card for the specific product that the customer bought. So it'll say something about like who the artist is that made it, how much clay was used, how long it took, and it also has like the artist's signature on it, so it kind of automatically becomes a bit of a certificate of authenticity. And the card looks very sleek with a dark blue brand color. That's exactly also what I was going for. So all in all, this is what a brand refresh would look like if I were to do one. I really like working on these because I think it's so much fun to be able to take an existing brand and bring it to a new level by building on what's there already. It's like a creative challenge that I really enjoy working on. So I hope this gives a little bit of an insight in what is included in a brand refresh or what could be included in one. If you have a project in mind, of course, feel free to reach out to me. My email is in the description here, as well as a bunch of links for useful resources for all of you. And that's it for now. I will see you in the next video.